Every time I shut my eyes, all I could think about was Haymitch.
If you have never read The Hunger Games, what are you doing with your life? Emotionally damaging, brutal. This book is absolutely life-changing. That epilogue, I think we're supposed to hate him. I'm losing my mind. Losing my absolute mind. I literally want to reread it and I'm not even done with this. She really did that. That was too much. I need a break. The real tears have arrived. I don't want it to end.
Today is the day! Oh my goodness, it feels like Christmas Day! How is this real life right now? How am I sitting here in the car, literally about to go get the new Hunger Games book?
And may the odds be ever in your favor.
My little tiny pea-sized brain cannot handle that I'm literally about to be back in Pan and the whole world in literally like 1 hour. I could not sleep last night, and every time I shut my eyes, all I could think about was Haymitch. I literally could not fall asleep because it felt like Christmas Eve, and I cannot believe we're getting another book today. In case you didn't know, hi, hello, my name is Liv. This is going to be a very chaotic video if this is the first video of mine you are ever seeing. Obviously, I'm a very big Hunger Games fan. I'm 31 years old. I'm wearing a Josh Hutcherson shirt right now to go get this book. I don't care because the Hunger Games was my whole high school life, and I will never get tired of it. Unfortunately, my local Barnes & Noble was not doing any release parties as well as any of the indie bookstores around me, which is very unfortunate. I was hoping that I would have the book in my hands by now, but it is Tuesday. It's release day. It is 6 p.m. exactly right now. I'm going to my local Barnes to meet up with my friends Kayla and Kendall. We're gonna get the book. We're gonna see what they got going on. I hope they have some type of like fun activity or drink. A drink would be super fun. Honestly, I'm making this video for me because I don't typically do vlogs just dedicated to one book, and last time I did it, it did not do very well. I just want to document this momentous time reliving the Hunger Games. I don't think I vlogged for Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I'm so excited! It literally just hit me sitting here in the car that I'm about to have this book in my hands in literally an hour. I am just buzzing with anticipation and excitement, and I really want to get on the road. Let's go ahead and go get Sunrise on the Rampart together.
It's now 9:42. I'm finally in bed. I finally have the book in my hands. The last copy that they had, which I will share that story in the morning because I'm very tired and I'm just very eager to get into this. But we've got our snacks, two of my favorites, tomato basil pea snaps, dried pea snaps, and then also a Barbell's protein bar because I did not eat much dinner and I'm very hungry and I've heard this flavor is really good. I also have my tabs, which I'm not going to be annotating this the first time around. I just think I'm going to enjoy it and tab a couple things here and there. And then I also have my Hunger Games bookmark from Casey from Forever Booked, which I love. And then I'm also going to play the soundtrack. I'm not listening to the audio for this one because I just feel like this series for me is so nostalgic and I can't do audio with someone else's voice in my head for this one. I feel like I could cry because I cannot believe we are at this moment in time. And okay, here we go. Here we go. I feel like I'm gonna cry already. Okay. Okay. Are you kidding me? Okay. Okay. The courtesy of the Capitol shorts on his butt. Oh, I'm crying. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I think I'm gonna try it with the audio because I cannot keep my eyes open for the life of me tonight. I want to read this so badly, and it woke me up because we just got a huge name drop. Burdock Everdeen? I guess is Haymitch's friend, and I think that's Katniss's dad, which is the first time we've ever heard his name. Only 8 pages in, and I'm like screaming. Lenore Dove is part of the covey, like we all thought and assumed she was, but so many questions are being answered already, and I'm losing my mind. Loving it already. I feel like she's already taken up her writing a notch, and I have no idea how. Okay, I'm back, because I'm only 20 pages in and I'm crying. This is going to be a long journey, and I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I'm just so intrigued because I know what happens shortly after his games. I know what happens in his games, but like what happens to him to make him turn into an alcoholic? Like I know, is she gonna show the journey? And I didn't even know that someone else was reaped before him, and they chose him second. This is like crazy new news, and I knew she was gonna pull some surprises. She has upped her game so much. The flow, like so much emotion, so many thoughts. This whole vlog is just gonna be like emotional thoughts and feelings, but I cannot believe 20 pages in and I legit had to stop it because I was tearing up. Like, this is just wild. Not to mention we're getting Katniss and Peeta's dad's names being dropped this early. It's already exceeding my expectations. If you have never read The Hunger Games, what are you doing with your life? Like seriously, masterpiece, like so creative, so clever. I hope she keeps writing forever. This is just too good. I'm back. It is the next day. I have had barely any time to read. Work suddenly has picked up this week and I'm like, can we not? This is the worst possible week for it to pick up because all I want to do is read. But I'm currently 65 pages in and I have so many thoughts and feelings. Like, I cannot tell you how many times I've had to stop to process or reread paragraphs or finish chapters and just sit there and process what is happening, because I think I'm still like in this weird phase where I don't feel like I'm reading a new Hunger Games book. Like, yes, it's Suzanne Collins and it's the world, but my brain still has not picked up that I am reading a Hunger Games book 10 years later. We have all wanted a Haymitch book for so long and we're finally getting that, and I'm just like, what do I do with my life? It's just, yeah, it's been a lot. But before we get into all that, let me back up for a second and tell you about last night's fiasco, because this copy was the last copy at Barnes & Noble, and when you call for a release party, they're supposed to reserve a book with your name on it. Guess who didn't get their name on a book? Me and Kendall. So there's one more book. We were legit about to Hunger Games it with each other because we're like, this is insane. This is Barnes & Noble. How in the world is it sold out? But my friend Kayla apparently had her name on a book and she so graciously gave it to me, and her and Kendall went and got Target editions on the way home. She is so sweet and so nice. She's like, I know this is your series and I want you to be able to have this edition, and I just wanted to make sure both of them could still get a copy somewhere because apparently this is selling out in places and it's just wild. There was that we were not expecting, but also I don't think I'm gonna do a release party again because this one was a flop. I'm like, why of all books that I am the most excited about did we get kind of a flop of a release party? So basically we showed up and there was only a couple other people there. There was just a table with like a unscramble, a crossword puzzle. But we also did a scavenger hunt, which was kind of fun. We raced around the store. We tried to find all of the posters with the districts and match them. That was super fun. We also got a pin, and then we also got a little coloring page. The fact that this was the day of, near the end of the day and closing, apparently they had 140 copies and they were all gone. It didn't even look like there was a table where they had set out copies because maybe that many people reserved them, but it's wild. It was fun to hang out with my friends for a little while, but I don't think I'm gonna wait again for like my most anticipated release of literally all time like that, because I was just itching all day to get my hands on the book. So kind of a flop, not the worst thing in the world, but but also not the best. So I don't know what happened with not getting my name on a book, but we kind of had a panic moment, but we resolved that. It's all good and everybody has a copy. I also wanted to share with you real quick this Kindle case that I got in the mail literally the day before this book released. Casey from Forever Booked, I have shared her stuff a million times, but this is the best thing she's ever made because obviously it's Hunger Games themed, and it is this Kindle case, which is perfect. It has the dress, the bow and arrow, the loaves of bread, the nightlock. Like, oh my gosh, I'm just literally obsessed with this case. The colors are definitely giving Catching Fire, which I love. It's probably my favorite book, but then the inside also has like this little handle, and it is stamped also with Forever Booked, so that's really cool. But like I showed you last night, she's also giving away exclusive bookmarks with the book sleeve. I will leave the link to this in the description below, and you can also use my code LIVE10, I believe, to get a discount. Now we're going to talk about my updated thoughts on this book. I'm going to try really hard not to ramble in this video. All I have to say is this book is absolutely life-changing. It was absolutely life-changing from like page 20, and I feel like it's not because I'm a huge Hunger Games fan, because I've been seeing everybody love it, and I really am going to be shocked if people don't love this book. Going into this book, I knew Haymitch's story, I know his games, but she literally wrote this for the fans because 20 pages in, we're getting big name drops already, and the connections in my brain just processing and going wild is absolutely insane. So she is definitely keeping us on our toes. She's giving the fans some surprises. We start off this book essentially like we start off the Hunger Games, where Haymitch, it's his birthday, and every day on his birthday is a new reaping day. I think I explained this last night, but he actually goes in place of someone else that was actually raped, which explains why he is the way he is now, because he was not the original person that was supposed to go into the Hunger Games. It was another guy who gets shot, and actually the Capitol like is 5 minutes behind in their live stream to the rest of pham, or the rest of the world and the districts, and so they end up cutting out this guy running away, getting shot, and it's just so wild the things that we're even learning about the Capitol that you didn't really pick up before, and how they can just manipulate people and how disgusting it is. I cry every single time there's a reaping. I had tears already on these pages from the first few pages, and I know it's just going to be even worse by the end. Another thing I didn't realize is how much Haymitch is like Katniss. Not only do we get his empathetic side, he's taking care of this little girl named Luella who is going to the Hunger Games with him. They're going to become allies mainly because he wants to take care of her, but also he's very strong-willed. The Capitol brings out a birthday cake and he's like, nope, I'm not eating that. I want nothing to do with it. And I feel like we see so much of that with Katniss, and I'm like, wow, I did not see the resemblance between the two as much as I do in this book, and obviously I love that. I would expect nothing less, but like the parallels are insane in this book. One thing that's annoying the absolute crap out of me is the stylist for District 12. Apparently he gives all of District 12 every single time overalls, and so of course they don't get sponsors, so I feel like they're already doomed from the beginning, and he's so lazy and his character is annoying already. And I mean, we only saw him for like 2 seconds, but I was like, wow, I think we're supposed to hate him. I already miss Cinna, but at the end of chapter 5, when they go out on their little carriages, I think, I keep wanting to call them wheelbarrows, but that's not it. They're little carriages with horses. Something happens to spook one of the horses. The horse goes wild and Luella is just dead. That's where I stopped. I have been itching all day to get back into this book. If she is gonna pull that stunt already, I'm terrified to know what's gonna happen by the end of this. Anyways, I have Hunger Games themed reading sprints in just a little while with my patrons. I'm hoping to get like an hour of reading in before I jump on sprints. I'm so terrified, but I'm also so ready to jump back in. I'm tearing up again. The tears have not fallen yet. I know they will. Haymitch. Haymitch. My boy Haymitch. We just found out Wyrus and Mags are his mentors. My mind is freaking blown. I feel like Mags has been suspected for a while, but to get that confirmed is wild. I'm losing my mind. It's 11 p.m. and I'm over here losing my absolute mind. Am I literally gonna be up till 3 a.m. finishing this? I'm gonna get through this book way faster than I thought because I am already on page 180. So I am basically halfway through the book. So much has happened, but the biggest thing that I am shook, the name drops since I talked to you guys last. Mags and Wyrus are Haymitch's mentors? I don't think anybody saw that coming. I know people like suspected Plutarch was going to be in this book. Caesar Flickerman is also the interviewer. And you know how I said earlier where I was hating the stylist? Suzanne Collins is an actual genius. She brought in Effie Trinket, who is like the older sister of one of the younger stylists. Haymitch has this moment with her where she's like dropping stuff out of her makeup bag and he's like picking them up and helping her. And that's like their first interaction and I'm like losing my absolute mind. I almost think we could potentially get like an Effie book because we're getting some background about her family dynamic. I don't know, some drama or trauma with all of that. And I'm just very interested to hear some of her backstory. I don't think anybody was expecting this. I feel like I'm losing my mind on every single page. The amount of times I've gasped is ridiculous and it's impossible to get a reaction every single time. This is blowing me away. The biggest thing about adding in all these characters into the book is you know we're getting a movie next year, right? So they have to cast all of these people perfectly and we've seen the older versions of them in the movies already. Like I'm a little bit nervous now that they're gonna be able to make it work. Are they gonna like take Tom Blythe and make him look like an old man? Also, I think Maisley is one of my new all-time favorite characters because she is Joanna 2.0. The snarkiness she has and the fire. She's not like Katniss, but she's even more loud and vibrant like Joanna. I also was like shook and so confused when Haymitch gets pulled in to talk to President Snow. And then Lulu's like stunt double twin comes in because they don't want people at all to realize that the Capitol is an actual disaster and are so inhumane. They don't want anyone to know that Luella died. And it's gotta be so weird for Haymitch, like seeing this girl and thinking like she looks just like her, but then she also has like an earpiece so she's listening into everything they're saying. And oh my gosh, they have this whole plan with Beatty to like blow up the underneath of the arena somehow. What I'm so confused by is we're almost halfway and we haven't even gotten to the games yet. But the biggest takeaway that I've had from this book so far is yes, there's like a lot of buildup, but like the amount of people, like I would love a book of Finnick Odair, obviously. She did him so dirty and she needs to redeem herself for giving him such a terrible ending. But then now I really want an Effie book or maybe one about the dark days. But then I'm like, well, what if she takes a character from this? Like she says she's not done writing, but also Haymitch's story is so much like Katniss's. He goes up and he tries to show his talent and he ends up putting the Capitol on blast, saying how inhumane they are. The parallels between the two are amazing. Oh, and another thing, I think there's a poem called Lenore by Edgar Allan Poe where everyone suspected that because Lenore in the poem has like some terrible tragic ending that it's going to be connected to Lenore Dove, and it's brought up in this book when Haymitch and Plutarch are talking, and I'm like, a lot of our theories are coming true, which is so satisfying. I'm still blown away by how amazing her writing is as well. Like this is just one example. A fragile collection of muscles and bones, a few quarts of blood wrapped up in a paper-thin package of skin. That's all I am. As I pass through the doors of this marble fortress, I have never felt more breakable. Like look, you guys, I legit have goosebumps right now. I have a feeling we're probably gonna end up watching the movies together this weekend because that just sounds perfect, and I'm gonna need something to come down off of finishing this book because it's gonna put me in a reading slump, so I may as well watch the movies, and I would love to see the extended editions. I love being back in this world. There's my update for now. Oh my goodness. I'm at least gonna get my reaction to the end of this book, but it is so hard to stop reading, you guys. We're back and we're finishing this book. I never want this to end. I literally want to reread it and I'm not even done with this. I have read another 100 pages since I chatted with you guys last, and I have 76 pages left. I think last time I updated you, I was talking about how I was concerned that the games had not even started yet. I think it was only 1 or 2 chapters after that the games were like full blown. How many times can Suzanne Collins write about being in the arena? I think this is her 4th time now, and still be so creative. Like
like her mind is not only super brutal because we've got all these different types of mutations, we are just learning so much more about the games. As Haymitch is about to get, I guess, launched into the arena in this tube, we get an Effie and Haymitch moment where Effie comes in and I think she gives him a token, or maybe she just like tries to fix his outfit or something like that. And the flashback I get to that Katniss and Cinna moment, you know what I'm talking about. Like, I still can't believe how much of Katniss I see in Haymitch. Like, it's just absolutely wild. It makes me miss Cinna, and he was done so dirty. I would love to get a book on his perspective, honestly. And speaking of Katniss, there's 2 times so far that Katniss's name has been mentioned because he's like running through a clump of Katniss or putting a backpack down or something by some Katniss. She really did that. As we know, Lulu is dead, which we kind of suspected. We all know Haymitch wins this games. I'm kind of glad she died because obviously she was supposed to be like a listening ear for what Haymitch was up to, but the way he tries to rebel and tries to hide her body so they cannot come down and take it away had me in tears. And he was talking about taking her under a willow, and you guys know that when Katniss buries Rue, she sings the song Deep in the Willow. She's just dropping so many things that foreshadow into the rest of the series. She's a genius. It's like subtly in there, but it's there. If you're a true Hunger Games fan, you know that it's there. I have not had like a tear streak down my face yet, but I know it's coming. I knew that going into this book I was gonna like Maisie, but I was not expecting to see as much of her as we've gotten already, and Haymitch is already getting so attached to her and calling her sister. Just break my heart, shatter it into a million pieces because I know what's about to happen. We're gonna take a deep breath. We're gonna sit here, we're gonna finish this book together and probably sob our eyes out. So let's go, I guess. I don't want it to end. Oh no, the part's coming. It's coming. It's coming. I'm not ready. I can't look. This is not how I thought it was gonna go. No. No. The real tears have arrived. This is not how I thought that was gonna happen. Maisie dying by birds. Oh gosh, do you see the tear? Do you see the tear? What? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I'm so stressed. Oh. Oh. Oh no. Oh no.
2 hours later.
Oh. Oh, it's too much. It's too much. Oh gosh. Okay, get it together. I need a break. I finished. I'm done.
I had to take an hour or two break to like process everything because I don't even know how to come back and describe everything I just read in those last 75 pages. The first thing I'm gonna say is this is the most emotionally damaging, brutal book out of all of them. Yes, we follow Katniss and Peeta on a crazy trauma experience, but this is just brutal. President Snow, that whole Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes book we got, is a true villain story. You can never convince me otherwise. He is a lying, disgusting human. He took his trauma out on Haymitch by destroying his soul and killing Lenore, but also hiding her body. The parallels with the whole Edgar Allan Poe Nevermore, I need to go on a deep dive with that because I feel like I sped through the end of this. I didn't even really tab anything because I was just eating this up and crying the whole way through. Like, I feel like I probably missed a lot of things near the end of this because it was just tears. If you don't cry at this book, you have to be heartless. There's no other possible answer because this was absolutely brutal. Not to mention that epilogue. He knows who Katniss is because it's his friend's daughter. Katniss and Peeta got the happy ending he never got. That was so powerful, and he cares about them so much more now, we know, than they could ever know. Like, that was so eye-opening. Yes, it was like an epilogue for the fans to get that Peeta and Katniss moment. Genius. It was so well done. I have goosebumps right now just talking about it. Can you imagine at the very end of this movie if we got Josh Hutcherson and Jennifer Lawrence at the very end and Woody? I don't know how I'm gonna get through this movie in a theater without sobbing the whole way and just feeling sick to my stomach. Yes, a lot of people have nostalgic ties to this. Harry Potter and Hunger Games were like my two top favorite things when I was in middle school, high school. But it is so powerful and relevant to today's world and the government and propaganda. Suzanne Collins is a genius. She always has so much to say. Her books are just so thought-provoking, and I absolutely love that. There's romance, there's suspense, there's violence, there's something in these books for literally everyone. Far exceeded my expectations, and I just don't know what to do with myself now. Now I'm gonna be put into a reading slump, and my only option is to go watch the movies. I don't know what else to do with my life now. Every time I look at this book, I'm just gonna cry. I will say the only two things that I'm like, it's not a big complaint. The way Maisie died with that bird like coming down her throat so quickly, I knew that we knew that she died defending Haymitch, but I didn't realize it was going to be in that way. We did get the original story where the axe falls off the like edge of the arena and comes back up. That was wild, but I'm glad that kind of stayed true to the story of kind of what Haymitch had said. She really did Maisie dirty, so I don't know how I feel about that. The only other thing that I was like iffy about, where I could see people would get like frustrated or think it was too much or too cheesy, all the cameos we had in this book. There was quite a lot. We even got Tigress, which I don't think I mentioned. She wasn't specifically named, but they were talking about a woman with ears a couple times, and I didn't catch on to that. I could see how that would feel like overload, but also it fits with the time frame between Ballad and then the other three books, so it makes sense to me. I feel like she could keep going with this world forever. What initially set me off crying was when the coffins of his friends from his district with him home to District 12. Disturbing yet powerful. Like, I was a goner. For the last 40 pages of the book, that was just it for me. That it was game over. Thank you for coming on this journey with me. Like I said, I kind of documented this for myself because it's just kind of fun to go back and look at reactions and see how excited you were for books. And hopefully you guys can share some excitement with me. Tell me all your spoilery thoughts and feelings in the comments. I could just go on and on about this world and all of the different things that we got from it. Thank you guys for hanging out with me, screaming with me, being excited for me, crying with me, and all the things about this series. I reread the series last year, had an absolute blast, and now I'm just gonna go watch the movies and cry some more. But thank you so much for watching. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in my next video.